Hey all, welcome to the Peanut Gallery. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a video on something called the Schmoedown. The Schmoedown is a movie trivia show which basically tests people's knowledge on movie trivia. It is significantly more complicated than that. I will be giving a brief rundown as to what it is in this video, but if you want to know more, I will link their YouTube channel in the description, and please go check it out. I highly recommend it if you're into movies and that kind of thing. Now, just very quickly, a quick breakdown as to what the Schmoedown is. As I said, it's a movie trivia show. It is more complicated than that. There are aspects of wrestling and that kind of thing. And when I say that, I mean storylines. This is a show. This is a full-on show. But when it comes to the trivia part, that's not fake. That is genuine matches. It gets very difficult sometimes. In fact, sometimes this season's been incredibly difficult, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So essentially, there are 4 divisions. You have singles, teams, Inner Geekdom, and Star Wars. There are also 9 factions, and in each faction there are 10 players and a manager. Each match is 3 rounds, except if you're doing a championship match. So if you're playing for the title, you will then play 5 rounds. So they are currently doing the singles tournament, and I will be starting off with that. Usually there are not as many matches as there are currently, but because of the pandemic and everything that's been going on, they've been able to do online matches, and therefore they have just done more matches just in general. So this tournament is a lot bigger, there are more matches, and there's also a teams division. So I will be going through what happened in the first round of the singles tournament, and I will be making predictions on what is to come in round 2. So guys, I didn't do every single match in the singles bracket. I only started doing this about 2 or 3 matches into the singles tournament, so not every match is on here. I also have a couple in here that are from outside of the tournament, and in future I will be looking at matches that are not just inside the tournament but in the special events and that kind of thing that happen as well. I will be doing those in future. The only ones that I do not track of my score is championship matches. That is purely because I want to enjoy those matches. I don't want to just sit around and see who I can beat. Please also note, I'm not very good at this game. I know Trivia Schmoedown. I know my trivia. I am not saying that I am better than anyone. In my case, I just like to be able to keep track of what my score would be. If I was in that person's position, what would I have scored? So the first one where I actually performed better than the person playing was Mike Kalinowski. I got 15 points when he got 13. I think that rather, instead of me playing well, that was him just not playing very well at all. Mike is a great competitor, so I think this was just a little bit of a rough patch for him. This was just a little bit of a rough game, and he'll most likely bounce back. He is one of the strongest competitors that there are in the league. And then the other person who I beat was Rachel Silvestrini. I got 13 to her 11. I felt like I had a not such great game, and I feel like Rachel had an even worse game. I think that Rachel is one of those players who is actually, she's got a very good knowledge, but I just don't think she's strong enough on her own, and she is a great teams player. Her team with Ben Goddard, the Pride, is a very strong and formidable team. I just don't think Rachel is cutting it at the moment in the singles division. She's lost quite a few. I think she is a really, really good player. I do. And I'm hoping she proves me wrong, but I don't think she's doing enough in the singles division. That being said, Liz Shannon Miller is a very good player. So I'm not sure what really to think of Rachel, but I'm hoping she proves me wrong when it comes to my initial thoughts on her. And then one match that I want to point out is Mark Riley versus Video Drew. That was a relatively weak match, just in, with regards to points. I did manage to draw against Video Drew. I also managed to draw against with Marisol McKee. Now, I feel like I played a very good game there, and so did Marisol. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Alright, so now I'm going to quickly review round 1 and then do my predictions for round 2. So I'm not going to be going into a lot of detail with regards to the matches. I'm just going to basically call the match and say if that's expected or if it was a bit of an upset. So starting on the top left, you have Adam Collins and John Roker. That was the last match I actually watched, and Adam Collins beat John Roker. For me, that's a pretty big upset. John Roker is one of the strongest competitors in the league. So for me, yeah, pretty big upset. Lon versus Sabina Graves. Lon winning it, yes, that's what I expected. The next match, Brendan Meyer versus Alonso Duralde, that was a great match. I think both competitors are fantastic. Brendan Meyer did end up winning. That is a match where, for me, it could have gone either way. So I like Brendan, I like Alonso. For me, yeah, it was a win-win situation for me over there. Mark and Draco versus Matt Atchity. I think Matt Atchity on his day can beat nearly anybody, and so can Mark and Draco. And that game, Matt Atchity just didn't have a good game. I was expecting Mark to win, so if Matt had won, it would have been a slight upset, but not unexpected. So the fact that Mark won is yeah, I think most people would have called that. Then you have Chance Ellison versus David Del Rio. Chance won that, and yeah, I expected, but again, that match, David Del Rio was heavy underdog and he pushed Chance, and I think that came close to being a bit of an upset. Then Liz Shannon Miller versus Rachel Silvestrini. Yes, Liz Shannon Miller was the better competitor and is the better competitor in my opinion, and so that's not an upset, that's probably what should have happened. Then you had Barbarian versus Whitney Savold, and Barbarian won it. That's what I would have predicted, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if Whitney had kind of come out swinging and done some damage to the Barbarian. Then you had William the Beast Bibiani, or Bibbs, versus James White. William Bibiani is a previous singles champion. James White's a rookie. Yeah, William was going to win that in my opinion, and he did. If you go to the top right, you've got Vinny Mancuso versus Ethan Irwin. Ethan Irwin is a great competitor. He's probably, for me, him and Dan Merrill, two scariest players to play against. And Ethan came out swinging in and won that quite well. Then Eric Zipper beat Paul Preston. This for me was a pretty big upset. I was fully expecting Paul to win, and Eric just came and just, yeah, beat him. Well played to him. Then probably for me it was the weakest of the matches is Jada Peralmo versus Jen Vavida. I'm not saying weakest as in they played the worst. It was the one that I have for me there was no hype. There was absolutely no hype around this game, and Jada Peralmo, who is actually a fan, won it. I'm very happy for him. But for me, that wasn't really an upset. It was just one where I was going, I don't know. Then you have Tim Franco versus Tom, and Tom came out on top. Yeah, that was for me expected. Tom's a weird character, and I absolutely love him. Then you have Mike Kalinowski versus Perry Nemiroff, and Perry came out on top. That's a pretty big surprise. I'm not sure if I would have called that. I probably would have gone Mike, but I need to remember that this game, yeah, you expect a few upsets. You have a bad game, you have a bad game. Then Mark Riley versus Video Drew. Yeah, I would have predicted Mark. It was a weak game from both competitors, so the fact that Mark came out on top is expected, but he needs to pick up his game, and I'll get on to my predictions with him and Perry later. Then you had Jeff Snyder versus Robert Montano. Yes, Jeff Snyder, I expected to win and he did win. And then Paul Oyama versus Marisol McKee. This match was one of those matches where, yes, I would have predicted Paul, but it's not one where it would have been easy. Paul is a former champion, Marisol McKee is a rookie, but Marisol proved she is a great competitor in the game before, and she proved that even in the game against Paul, she is a great competitor. She is one to watch out for the future. The last thing I want to do before we finish with this video is I want to give my predictions for the next round. So Adam Collins versus Lon Harris, I would have said initially Lon Harris pretty easily, but Adam Collins played a near perfect game against John Rocha. In fact, he played a perfect game against John Rocha. He got all 9 questions asked in the first round and hit every single question without having to earn a multiple choice. In round 2 against John Rocha, he played a great game. I also think that he is a little bit lucky with the questions. I don't know if I can bet on him yet. Lon Harris is a great player. He seems to have been renewed under swag. But you know what? I'm going to give it to Adam Collins. Let's go for, I would say it would be an upset. I'm going to put the upset here. Adam Collins to beat Lon Harris. Then you've got Brendan Meyer versus Mark Draco. This one is going to be slightly tougher. Now, I say that because both of these players are exceptionally good. I think both of them will most likely give fantastic performances. I think that Mark Draco gets in his own head sometimes, and I think the kid psychs himself up quite a lot, and he can get quite annoying actually to other players, not to the fans but to other players. I'm going to go the kid, Brendan Meyer, over Mark Draco. Then next you've got Chance Ellison versus Liz Shannon Miller. Here I'm actually going to say Liz Shannon Miller. And I'm going to say that because I think Chance's, put it this way, if Chance wins this match, I'm actually going to probably tip him to win the whole thing. This might very well be Chance's season. If it is, because he won the Inigidum, he knocked out Parker, ended up winning the whole thing. He's on a great run in singles. If Chance wins against Liz Shannon Miller, I think he'll go on to win the whole thing. But I'm going to say he won't. I think his luck's going to run out, and so I'm going to put Liz Shannon Miller. Then the last round on the left hand side is the Barbarian versus William Viviani, and I'm going to go with the Barbarian. I think William Viviani is one of the better competitors. I really do. I really like watching him. I just think that the Barbarian is just a little bit better at the moment. Vibbs is playing great, don't get me wrong, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does win, but for me personally, I think I'm going to go with the Barbarian. Then onto the right hand side, you've got Ethan Irwin versus Eric Zipper. For me, that's Ethan Irwin, that's lights out Ethan Irwin all the way. I think Eric did well against Paul, but I don't think he stands a chance against Ethan. The next match is Jada Parama versus Tom. Again, I think Tom's going to wipe the floor with Jada. I think Jada will put up a big fight, I do, but I think Tom will just be stronger overall. Then you've got Perry versus Mark Riley. Now this one is tough because I would generally say Mark Riley is the stronger competitor. But he's been struggling recently. He needs a big win. I think that he's going to do it over Perry. I do. I think Perry is a good player. But I think Mark will just have enough. But it's going to be tough. I wouldn't be surprised if Perry ends up winning, but I'm going to put Mark. Then lastly is Jeff Snyder versus Paul Oyama. We've got a rematch here. In case you guys don't know, Paul Oyama versus Jeff Snyder, they played at a live event in, I think it was Boston, and Paul wiped the floor with Jeff. I think Jeff got on his own head a bit in that match. I think Jeff will come out swinging in this match, but I think Paul will have enough, and Paul will get it in the end. So there you have it. Just to run through who I think is going to win. I think Collins over Harris. I think Maya over Andreyko. I think Miller over Ellison. I think Barbarian over Bibiani. I think Irwin over Zipper. I think Tom over Karamo. I think Riley over Nemiroff. And I think Oyama over Snyder. If you guys watch the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, let me know. What do you guys think? Are my predictions a bit stupid, or that they're out there? Or am I playing it too safe? Let me know down in the comments. Hit a like on the video if you like what you see. And yeah, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Thanks guys.